So welcome to another Transformation Tuesday with project services from Talenza. I'm here with Mukti Prabhu, who has very graciously given her time to talk about her career journey to date. Something we wanted to look at was the journey from project or program related work through to a role that encompasses also project and programs, but also BAU and continuous improvement. So Mukti, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
No worries.
If I could ask you initially, sort of, I guess, did you have a plan to go from sort of project-based work to a more general management or BAU continuous improvement type role when you first?
I wouldn't think so. I mean,
No.
I would be lying if I said yes, I had a plan all planned out, etched out. Absolutely not. There was no plan. It was more the curiosity, I think, that led me from one role to another and to another after that.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, and yeah, I think that's probably true for a lot of people that they get to a certain point and go, yes, I could say it's this, but yeah, opportunity and curiosity are probably the greater drivers, right? And taking yourself on that journey, are there any particular points that really sort of I guess sort of added or put fuel to that sort of creativity of turning from more project-based to sort of continuous improvement or BAU?
So I'd say, when you say a continuous improvement or a general management role, it's more, it's not general as in meh, but it's more the all-round experience. And having that diverse thought, having had the experience knowing the business inside out, that certainly helps. So while I didn't plan for it to be that way when I got to my GM role, it certainly has helped my career because I've had the opportunity and I've consciously gone out and put myself out there to say, oh, I have done release management. I'd like to give a go at testing and then project management, then project program management, and so on and so forth. That sort of, that adds to your experience, and that diverse background and experience adds to your critical decision-making skills. Of course, no one person is going to be great at everything else, but even if you are, half as good, that helps. And it definitely helps when you know and you're aware of what you're not good at as well. So I think that's certainly been a great help for me personally.
Yeah. And with that journey, were there any sort of pointers or any sort of mentoring that you received that you can sort of look back and go, yeah, that was a great sort of point that someone made?
Definitely. I was really fortunate enough to have worked with some really great leaders who put themselves aside, and they put my needs and my learning in front of theirs. That was great. There were two pieces of advice that will always stay with me. One was from my dad. This was back when I was at school and I didn't have a particularly great day after an exam. And I was very upset. And I remember my dad had said, yes, so you had a bad day. What's going to happen? You'll fail. And I looked at him and go, I've never failed. He said, yeah, but that's the worst outcome. Nothing else is going to happen after that. Zombies won't become real. You'll have a go at it again. That's it.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. I mean, at that point in time, I didn't know anything about, growth mindset or any of that sort of stuff. I remember first year of my engineering degree, and I sort of went, yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's not that bad an outcome. I'll just go at it again. I didn't fail then, but that sort of stayed with me. The second piece of advice, much later, in fact, a few years ago, one of my managers asked me to take up an operational role. I had, till then in my career, I had never done an operational role. I had done variety of, project program management, continuous improvement. I had done strategy roles, all of that sort of stuff, not an operational role. And I said to him, I don't think I'll be good at it. And he said, you'll never know if you don't try. He said, what if I'm really bad at it? And he said, well, give it a go, 1 year, and you'll know what that, you're not good at it. I did it for a year. I wasn't bad at it, but I did not enjoy it. I mean,
Right.
when I mentor a few people at Vic IT for women and other organizations, and what I say is for any role, there's three parts, right? One is the learning, what you learn for yourself on the job, what you give the job, as in what outcomes and what goals you achieve. And the third thing is the fulfillment. And that's sort of, how do you feel fulfilled? Do you think like you're kicking goals? I didn't get that from that role. So I
Yeah.
don't think I'll go for that sort of role again.
Yeah.
But looking back, that's one thing I have got ticked off on my profile, which I wouldn't have if I had not kept an open mindset and gone. In all honesty, I probably didn't. But my manager then convinced me that give it a go. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, I
I
think
think
that's
that's
really
really
interesting.
important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Keeping that open to opportunities is and saying yes rather than no or I don't know is yeah, yeah. And going back to your dad's comment, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. On your journey so far, what have been sort of the biggest challenges moving from sort of project based to a more sort of continuous BAU general manager role?
So again, this is in hindsight, and hence it might sound easier.
Yeah,
But I'm actually writing an article about it. I'll publish it hopefully soon in
excellent.
LinkedIn as well. Average tenure for a career is about 30 years.
Mm,
In my mind, the first 10 should be spent on learning as much as you can. So in my case, I went from domain to domain. I worked in retail, then banking, then telecom. I went from development to project management to testing to release management to project and program management. And I think in doing that, if you had a look at my career journey in the first 10 years, you would see I was moving more sideways than moving up.
yeah.
So in terms of challenges, while you're doing it, feels like why am I proving myself again and again and again?
Mhm.
Why, while person X has gone from being a developer to a module lead to a project manager to a program manager, they have had a one-track journey.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, you kind of now realize, yes, I did the right thing by going around the globe and then doing that, because now if someone comes and asks, oh, could you do a strategy role? Yes, I've done that before. I can get into that. Could you do a testing role? Yes, I've done that before. I could get to that. Could you do this domain role? Yes, I've done that. And that sort of helps. And even when you make the decisions, it helps, but it's not an easy path.
No.
Definitely not for the faint-hearted,
Mm,
because you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel until you've done your first 10 to 12 years, gone through the hard yards, and then gone ahead. Other than that, I would say complexities, complex programs, that's actually a high, not a challenge.
mm,
Being um, I guess, a woman in a man's world, that
yeah.
has not been easy. I would say I have been fortunate that I have not been discriminated against. I've said the first impressions haven't helped, but I mean, that's just all in a day's job, I suppose. That happens everywhere. We are unfortunately not in a state where everyone's treated fairly and equally, but I think we can all make a difference. That's our way of making a difference.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guess as a general manager, that breadth and depth of experience you had in those first years has probably stood you in really good stead in terms of sort of the scope of the work that you do now.
Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and I absolutely agree that there's still a lot of work to be done, in regards to sort of gender, equality, diversity as well. So yeah, no, and I say all we can do is do our best to try and improve all of that
Yep.
and be aware of it as well. Absolutely. Um, for you, what have been the greatest rewards in your career journey from project to general manager so far?
I would say some of the programs that I've had the opportunity to look after and manage. So I managed Telstra's NBN rollout across Australia.
Yeah,
That was one of the most complex programs I have ever executed. I mean, it had all the way from IT stack delivery to network enablement to actually building a new modem, rolling it out across the country and things like that. And it was rewarding in many ways than I can call out, but also interesting because nobody else wanted to touch it with a, a foot-long pole. And I was brave enough to say, give it a go. Let's see what happens. And I think coming out of it, to just be able to put it on your profile to say, I did that, that's a great achievement. There was another project, I think it was a small scale project, and it's not always, the big flashy ones. It was a very small software currency upgrade program of work. It had been backed out of production 7 times. It was the 8th turn, and my manager then said, would you like to take it? In reality, no one else wanted to do it again because it was backed out 7 times. And I said, yeah, why not? I'll do it. And I remember putting in some conditions then to say, I'll put my name on people and I want that team to work on it. So I was able to say, I want that person, that person, that person. I could get a team together, get their knowledge. I think I personally learned a lot working in that. It was a small software currency upgrade project. 8th go, we were lucky 8th time, we got it all done. But I think that team that we created, we still meet fortnightly for dumplings. That's my core network, and it's been amazing.
Excellent.
But I guess in terms of rewards, it's the people, the network, the experience, those are the most rewarding things over the years.
Yeah, no, that's really great to hear, because I think there is so much talked about sort of the achievement of the technology, but the people that you work with are what makes any job, right? So that's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have done it if it wasn't for all the people that I worked with.
Yeah, and what would you say you would maybe do differently, sort of if you had a time machine to go back, if anything at all, in terms of your journey so far?
I don't think I'd do anything differently.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been the one to delve in the past, but I don't think if I had a go again, I don't think I'd do anything differently at all.
Yeah, great. And where do you see your career journey from here? You're at general manager level now.
I didn't plan the past. I don't think I can plan the future, but who knows what else is going to come up. I'd just say, stay hungry, stay foolish.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, look, Mukti, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
No worries, Miles.
And I look forward to hearing more about how your journey goes.
Thanks, Miles.
Thank you.
Take care.